confirmation. Thank you, we're live now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kirsty North, the Executive Lead Member for Universal Services, and welcome to my Decision Day. The Decision Day is being broadcast live on YouTube via the County Council's website, and I've got various members here with me today, so I'd like to welcome Councillor Lulu Bowman, our Executive Member for Highways and Waste. It's a wave. Councillor Robin Catter, our Universal Services Select Committee Chairman, Councillor Jackie Branson, our Universal Services Select Committee Vice Chairman. And I don't believe we have any other attendees from our various independent and minority groups with us today. So I will just check, has anyone offered their apologies, Caroline?
I've not received any for today.
No problem. Well, we'll be pleased to hear there's also no deputations, so we can move straight on to item number 1, which is the 2025-26 revenue budget. And I think, Patrick, you're going to give a brief introduction.
Yes, thank you, Councillor North. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Patrick Blogg. I'm the Director of Universal Services. So, as you mentioned, Councillor North, there's the first paper you're going to consider today is the Revenue Budget and Savings Report for 25-26. Really, it sets out our overall position for the Directorate and just has some detail around the government settlement that we received, which was largely disappointing. But it also sets out our work on returning to our core purpose. And you'll see within the report there is quite a lot of detail around the work where we've had some scrutiny from an independent panel to challenge and look at what we can do with our services. Within the report also, there is a proposed cash limit for the Directorate of still 154 million, of which 141 million is largely income. So we still have a very significant proposed cash limit for the Directorate of around 296 million gross budget. And you'll see within there that what we've done is set out the work and the budgets by branch area within the 4 branches within the Directorate. We've tried to flesh out some of the challenges the Directorate faces over the next year, but also some of the priorities we're looking at. And we've also given some details around some positive news we've had from government at the end of last year around some injection of money for some of our highways work, some of our extended producer responsibility work and the bus service improvement plan. So that's a welcome bit of news that we've had. It goes on and just talks about a recap of some of our phase 1 proposals. It also then goes on to set out some of our phase 2 proposals, and there's a narrative around in that. And again, some details are set out of that in the Appendix 1. But that's all I was going to say by way of introduction. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick. Any of our members that would like to speak now is your chance. In that case, I'll ask Councillor Bowman for her thoughts.
Thank you, Councillor North. Really just to say, I think we had a very thorough session under Councillor McCatter's chairmanship this morning, and lots of questions were asked. I thought it was a lively debate on all the different subject areas of these papers, particularly obviously the SP25 phase 1 and also phase 2 as well. So I think as that none of them have joined us this afternoon, I'm hoping that they are very positive and supportive of these measures going forward, and everything that was discussed this morning. Is it a good time to say something very positive about the MRF in Eastleigh as well? You know, that finally we are, spades going to go in the ground, and we are going to be building that in the next couple of years, starting this year. We've waited a long time for clarity on recycling and all the different types and how it will take place. And I'm delighted that, we finally got to this stage. So very positive news from me. As I said this morning, a great way to start a very gloomy January. Thank you, Councillor North.
Thank you very much, Lulu, Councillor Bowman, for your comments. So I also would like to thank all of our Universal Services officers for their hard work and the time that's gone into putting this budget setting report together. And I recognise the position that we face in the County Council is difficult, and we're under severe strain. And that's by no part from the cost of delivering care to vulnerable children and adults, which has continued to increase and continue to squeeze other areas within the council. And we have received no magic pill from the government to help with this, so we continue to do what we can. But we will acknowledge, as Patrick, you have mentioned, the cash increases that we have received in highways funding, in bus improvement funds, and in waste for the EPR. So that is to be welcomed. And I too am excited or delighted, as Councillor Bowman says, about the prospect of unlocking greater recycling, and welcome the large investment in infrastructure to unlock progress at Chickenhall Lane. And that will be a journey that we will need to go on with our district and boroughs to continue that, so enable residents to be able to recycle more widely at the curbside. So I'm happy to approve the recommendations as set out in section B on page 3 of the report. And we can move to item number 2, which is the proposed capital programme for 25-26, 26-27 and 27-28, and the 24-25 Q3 update. Back to Patrick.
Yes, thank you, Councillor North. So this is, as you say, the capital programme for the next 3 years plus the Q3 update. I wasn't going to introduce much detail on this one. There's quite a lot of detail covered within the report, but it's the 3-year programme. But what you'll see within the report profile is really covering over around the next 5 years, because what we've done is we've profiled this over an expenditure basis as different from a starts basis, which is what we've seen in previous years. And it helps just by way of presentation because it shows the actual cash flow in years. So it's probably a more accurate picture as you look across it, so you can see how the projects land within the different years. I think of note is it's even with some of the challenges, it's still a very significant capital programme. I mean, over the number of years, it's about 1.1 billion. But if you take over the 3-year period we look at for the report, that's still over 540 million of capital programme. So it's really significant. Again, what I've tried to do in the report is bring out the projects that exist within the branches, so how the capital money falls within the branches and the projects which are being delivered there. It also covers various things like changes to schemes, where we've increased schemes, where we've reduced schemes, or where we've removed schemes, and the rationale behind those to give a justification for those. It sets out again some of the priorities and some of the challenges, which I know we've talked about, and we discussed some of those at the Select Committee this morning. And finally, there are a number of recommendations within the report for your consideration, but that's all I was going to say by way of introduction. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Patrick. Councillors McCatter, Branson, any comments? No. Councillor Bowman? Is that a no? Sorry.
I'm on mute. Sorry, apologies.
Okay.
No, thank you, Councillor North. Other than to say I'm delighted to see that the spend in highways and all the projects are going to go ahead. So thank you. Thank
you. And you're completely right, Patrick. Despite the challenges we face, it's a really significant capital programme, and there's a lot of welcome investment in there. As we heard this morning, it was unanimously supported. So I can take a lot of comfort in that the committee were happy with the programme set out in front of us. So I won't delay us any further, but I will approve the recommendations in paragraphs 2 to 8 on pages 123 to 124 of the agenda. And with that, Caroline, please, could we stop the webcast?
Thank you. I'm just waiting for confirmation.